What's up, everybody? My name's Trey and welcome to another video. And now I know what you're wondering. Trey, how can I create a business but do so using other people's money? And I'm glad you asked, because in this video I'll actually be interviewing Blake with Empower Consulting, which is a funding company that helps individuals and businesses acquire the funding necessary to create truly passive income. So make sure you watch to the end, because we're going to have a lot of really good information in it, and I'm going to have something special for you at the end if you watch it all the way through. But if you are someone that's new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified every time I post a video, because it helps this small channel grow more than you can ever imagine. And with that being said, let's get into that intro, baby.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, Trey, for having me on. It's definitely an honor to be able to speak on someone's channel, and I look forward to just sharing more about my story. Hopefully this can help a lot of people. But yeah, my name is Blake Evertson. I'm the co-founder of the company here, Empower Consulting. And what we do is we help entrepreneurs acquire anywhere from 50 to $500,000 in funding. And we have a lot of success right now with the people we work with. We work with only about 15 to 30 folks a month. And it really took us a long time, Trey, to get to that point where, we have the systems and the infrastructure built in place so that we can handle that volume while upholding the level of quality. And, kind of on my background, I'm a student at Harvard. I have one more semester left, essentially, a month and a half left. And I study psychology and evolutionary biology. And you'll notice that it's completely different than what I'm doing now. Right. It's more, finance and business driven, whereas those are more scientific and medical driven. And so my initial plan going into college was to go into medical school, go through my residency, my fellowship, and then become an attending physician somewhere. And make good money there and help a lot of people that way. And I guess what kind of got me starting to think about entrepreneurship and sales and providing value outside of the traditional roles that we might find exist, like investment banking, doctor, lawyer, consultant. What kickstarted that were a couple of experiences I had traveling. One of which happened, it was sophomore year, going into junior year. I did a trip to Vietnam to essentially just help underprivileged middle schoolers and high schoolers. I teach them basketball, baseball, soccer, and life skills and various different academic facets. And I just really enjoyed thinking of those people for that month I was there, and not worrying about, I guess, so much my concerns, but really trying to pour into these kids and really educate them and be a mentor to them. So that kind of got me thinking, okay, well, I know I really like helping people and I really like educating people. And I saw all the success people were having on the internet. We go through Instagram and we see the lifestyle of some of these people. Oh, right. And, some people are faking, granted, but some people actually have that lifestyle. And me being very competitive and being exposed to that for a very long time, it was in about March of 2020 when the pandemic happened. Everyone was kind of inside, thinking about their life, reflecting. And I remember it was late at night. I had a very long day of studying for, my MCAT, and I was just scrolling through Instagram. And I saw these kids that were my age, if not less, but younger, and living in Beverly Hills, drop shipping, having success on the online space. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm tired of looking at these people and either demeaning them, saying it's fake, coming up with all these bullshit excuses on why, their success is not real. And all that was just a way to prevent myself from seeing the opportunity in this digital space. And so I'm finally like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to try to make it in e-commerce. I'm going to start my Amazon business. I'm going to sell products online, and I'm going to make 20, 30 grand a month right out of the gate. And I'm going to travel to Bali. I'm going to travel everywhere. I'm going to meet people, just like expand.
Right.
I don't need, med school anymore. And so I basically overhauled my entire life. I bought a course for Amazon FBA, and probably like for the next year, 8-12 hours a day, just like, and it didn't feel like work to me, because it was like I was working towards my freedom.
Right.
I saw what these people were doing and the power they had over their lives, the ability to eat whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, hang out with whoever they wanted,
Right.
and just be the masters of their own life. And I felt like I was just on a path that was preordained. I knew what I was doing, and it wasn't super exciting to me. And so then my ex-girlfriend at the time, we had been talking over Zoom and stuff. And then she flew down to Florida, or she drove down to St. Petersburg because she was in Miami, because I was telling her, hey, Sam, I'm gonna start this business. I want you to like work with me, and we can just be an influencer travel couple and like help people and teach people how to make money online.
Sounds legit to me. I like it.
Yeah. So I was definitely going all in on the dream. And so she came down, she picked me up, and that was the first time really I had ever like left home. It's probably like 20 or 21, probably like 20 at the time. That was 20. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I just know I can. I'm smart, I'm hardworking. And then life really hit me hard. Probably like 6 or 7 months into that journey, I moved down to Milwaukee to be with some of my past business partners, and the products we had sourced, we projected they were going to do, XXX, but they just didn't. And
Right.
We actually had a couple different things. We had an infringement that we did accidentally on one of the products. So that big company, multi-million-dollar company, saw our success that we were having like on Instagram and giving away products and getting people excited about a product. They like tried to shut it down, and they kind of did shut it down. And so there was that. And then the other product we had, it came completely like just not the way we wanted it. So we dropped a ton of cash there. And then the other product was a kind of like a face mask. It was neck gaiter, because we're like, hey, there's COVID happening. We can't sell the nice medical masks because of all like the regulations and stuff. But what if there's an alternative we can sell that's selling fairly hot? And so we sourced like 10,000 like neck gaiters, blue, black, white, and gray. And the quality was just so bad. It looked so much better on the site when I was sourcing them from China.
Right.
And they came, and again, that was more money we dropped that was in inventory. This wasn't drop shipping, right? We were trying to build a brand, and
Right.
that didn't work out. And so
if you
now,
don't mind, how much money did you spend on just like products and everything to get them shipped in? Because a lot of people know that you can do Amazon FBA, but I think a lot of people underestimate how much money it actually takes to source a product. And if you don't mind, were you going through Alibaba,
right.
or were you just buying like them in bulk, or who's your supplier area?
Yeah, great question. So I went to Alibaba first, and I found some on AliExpress, and there's a couple other different sites, but I think all in, it was like a couple, 10 or 15K from my own capital. And then there was, of course, capital contributions from all the other partners. So it was like 40 grand, I think, in total that we spent, tried to get this thing up running. And that includes the product, the freight forwarding, like the shipping to Amazon, the packaging, the SKU labels, the FN SKUs on the things when they get to Amazon, the PPC. We didn't account for like all the amount of money you have to shell out to get the product ranked. We just thought it was going to be a breeze. Oh, great. There's not a lot of competition. We'll go straight to the top. So just like typical young, like, I'll have it all figured out. Like, it's going to be great. And really up to that point, Trey, like, and this is going to sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but it's just the truth. Up to that point, I hadn't really had like a major failure in my life. And I was like, oh, the same success I had in cross country and sports and running, same success I had in academics, that's going to translate over perfectly into making money. And
nice and easy. Yep.
Yep. And like, I got my ass handed to me. And I got really humbled. And basically I went a couple months with just denying that, because I was like, I'm never going to have a job. I'm never going to work a job anymore. And then finally realizing after I lost all that money that I'm like, okay, clearly I can't make money right now from e-commerce, from this entrepreneurial thing.
So
I
how
have to find
long
another.
was that? How long was that? So like from the time you started, you got your product and you kind of were like, man, this is not like right now, this Amazon FBA is just not going to work. Was it a year, like 15 months? Like how long was the time frame?
Right. So I'm going to say, so about June, I moved down to Milwaukee. I was like with my ex-girlfriend about a month before. So about probably like, 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Where I'm still, the faith is still there. I'm like, we can do it. We can get it appealed. We tried talking to the other company and just saying, hey, look, we're just a small company here. We're not trying to like overtake your brand, brother. Like we're just trying to make a little bit of cash here. And so it was just a very tough thing. Cause I'm like, all right, I'm kind of overthinking, or I'm too positive on all these things. I'm not seeing the downside, and it's leading me to bad roads. And so my partner had a restaurant, and his family graciously took me in as a dishwasher. So I was doing that for probably like 4 or 5 months, making $12 an hour, $13 an hour, which is like, decent wage. But kind of during that time, I was listening to a lot of podcasts of other founders, what their journey was, like when they hit that point of resistance and shit started not going well, how did they respond, what they do? And I was listening to a lot of just like education. And that was I found myself when I was working those hours at the restaurant. I definitely found myself, and I found a groove back in work. And so from there, I got into, we tried to start a couple other things. We tried to start a vodka brand where, we would, the mock, maybe I have it here, but I'll send it to you after, but it's, so we tried that. Then we tried doing electric bikes, and that didn't really ever kind of get off the ground. And then we tried to do a Shopify store where we would sell little entrepreneur packages that basically had, packages tray where like we'd have everything you would need to kind of like set up a little office wherever you are traveling. Because, I have this standing desk here that I like take with me everywhere. It has my, and it's just like a little workspace. And so what we wanted to do was put a standing desk, put like a little coffee mug, a coffee wireless like heater, and then just various like cool entrepreneur type travel things that you could just be in a box and you would get it, and you'd be set to go, and it'd be called like the nomad box or whatever. We did that for a little bit, but again, it just didn't really work out. And then I was like, okay, I can't keep working in a dishwasher. I have to utilize my skills in a better way, make more money. So I looked on Indeed. I liked every single job just to like see them. I clicked on each one, and then I did phone sales one time, or not phone sales, door-to-door AT&T sales. And it was like probably like -5 in Milwaukee. And
not exactly the best for that, right?
So I'm just like, God, like this is, it's tough work, and I respect it, but it's like, holy shit, to make maybe $1,000 a day or like $500 a day and work that hard. It's like, okay, there has to be a more efficient way. So I had to find a better way to make money. That's when I found insurance, and I was doing life insurance probably for the next 3 or 4 years, not 3 or 4 months. And life insurance, you'd make good money. You would sell a policy. They'd, they'd buy maybe 150 or 200 buck a month policy to protect their whole family and their mortgage. If something happened to them, the mortgage would be paid off, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
And that was just a 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night, 9 p.m. at night, calling, booking people, scheduling people, calling leads that haven't been called.
And ever. Like,
yeah, like 6
I
years.
used to sell life insurance. I completely understand.
Yep. 50-cent leads, dollar leads, just like, because I had no money, because I'm like, all right, I can't buy the $30 leads, because if I only get 5 of them, I don't want to fuck it up.
Right. Exactly.
So I was just really calling all those. And then I think from there, I learned just more about people, and it just got me talking to people more. And that was exciting, because I had just been so closed off working. And so I learned a ton from there, and I started making a good amount of money. I made like 10K. Then I made one month, I made about like 15 or 17K and take home. So I'm like, all right, hell yeah. Like, I could do this. I could do this for a very long time. And there's a lot of people who are a lot older than me that are doing really well. But I felt, well, here. So then I'm like, all right, where do I want to go? Because I need to get out of Milwaukee. I need to change. So that's when I'm like, well, I was in Miami with my ex-girlfriend before. I kind of liked it down there. I'm just going to go to Miami. Right. And so I looked up places to live, and I found this really cool spot. And so I just called them. I went down, flew, kind of just got rid of most of my stuff and flew down with like a backpack and a little bag, and kind of continued the insurance grind for the next 2 months.
So
3
is
months.
it at this point in time where you're like, well, we're just like, e-commerce is kind of out of the picture right now, and this just like fully focusing on insurance, I assume?
Yeah, it's a really good point. Like, I was so focused on insurance, and I knew that, yes, it's entrepreneurial, and people who are in insurance, like, I don't know, they may be mad at me when I say this, but it's entrepreneurial, but it's also, you pretty much do the same thing over and over and over again. And to me, that was like, it just felt like a job. It felt like it wasn't as dynamic, and it kind of felt like I was just putting myself in that position just to get the bag. And I was like, okay, like, do I really like this offer? Do I really enjoy talking to people that don't really like to, talk to me about these things? And also, kind of are irritated that I bring this up, even though they know it's kind of like, you being the parent.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of like you being the parent for 8 hours a day and saying, eat your vegetables, kid, do this, do this, do this. And they listen to you, but it's kind of exhausting.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I need to find something where people want, and where people are motivated to get it. And it's so interesting, because the week that I was probably at my lowest with that job, where I'm just like, damn, I had the good place in Miami. It's paying like $1,700 a month on the 31st floor. It was a great view. I had all the food, everything was pretty much taken care of. I had freedom, one could say, but if I wasn't calling people, I wasn't making money. So I wasn't going out, I wasn't partying. No, I was kind of stuck in my room on those calls. So I'm like, all right, this kind of sucks. And a previous friend of mine, all the way from about 3 years ago, when I was doing a project where I would go up to people and start conversations, it was like a Talking with Strangers podcast. I had met him from that, and he was in Miami for like this Bitcoin conference and credit conference in Miami. So he's like, hey, Blake, I'm here. I haven't seen you in a while. Like, let's connect. And so I remember everything exactly. Like, we met up, and we were in Brickell, and we went to Shake Shack. He was there with his girlfriend, and we were just kind of talking. And then he was going through a similar kind of loneliness, where he had this idea, but he didn't really have anyone to grow it with. And things weren't really working out before. And so we kind of met at 2 low points, and we're like, hey, let's work together. And he showed me some of the results he had with some of the clients he was pulling. And I was like, knowing with my psychology background and having known decently a good amount of just people and what they're motivated by, and after all those calls and all that time, I think all my life experience up to that point had put me in a position to see the opportunity that the business was. And I'm like, holy shit, that's it. Like, and from then on, he was in Orlando. So here I, didn't have a ton of money to my name, but I booked a flight down to Orlando literally the next day, like at like 6 a.m. And it was just full send. It was like, all right, let's build this thing. And from then to now, it's just been one of the most exciting like things I've ever done in my life. And we've grown so quickly, and we've been able to help so many people, and that's been the reason for our growth. And we just kind of crystallized on this offer, which is 0 money down. We'll work with you for 2.5 weeks. We'll get you all of the funding. That'll change your mind. You'll see that we're legit. You'll see our business ethics. And then, we'll set you up with the various investments we have access to that only our clients have access to. And yeah, it's just been a long journey. And I think, you guys may see the background, you may see the success I have, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to all the failure that I had to go through,
Right.
and all like the wrong paths to like find something that worked. And so I'd say the biggest thing is like, you can't know when it's going to happen, like when you're going to find that thing that changes your life, but you just have to know that like you will never give up, and you will always keep pushing, and always say you're not good enough and you couldn't be better. And there are people doing what you want, and just like lean into that. And yeah,
that's huge, man. Huge congratulations, my guy. Because that's like a lot of people, I think, especially in the e-commerce space, just assume that the first product you get or the first store you make is just going to make you $100,000 overnight. Which I kind of assume it's because of, how the space is kind of marketed, more or less. It's, hey, buy my course, get into my program, and you're going to make all this money. And really, it's a lot harder than that. I would say, because I've been like in e-commerce for about 7 years now. And I would say in that 7 years, being in different Facebook groups and meeting different people, I don't think I've met anybody that on their first store has been successful, or first product or anything. Like, it's always their third, fourth. It's always doing something completely different. But it's from all the connections of, failing on stores, failing on products that lead you to where you are today, which is super impressive. And then, so did you then decide like, hey, let me go back to college, let me finish that out, or like what, like what kind of led you back to doing that, I guess?
Yeah. So in my young ignorance, pride, I was like, I'm going to drop out. I don't need school. Right. I'm just going to, I'm going to make all this cash, and I'm going to never need. I even at one point was like, I'm going to make so much money that I won't need credit, because I'll just have so much money for my business. Yeah. So I was just like, yeah. And then basically it was like, in the winter, and I'm like, okay, I need to go back. I can't just like ditch that. And I was like, I actually need that degree, because I don't even know, if I can do it at this entrepreneurial thing. Right. And so, yeah, then I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go back, let's get it done. And thank goodness I did, because that would have been the stupidest thing ever. It's just a disgrace to all the work I have.
How's your time kind of split up now? Because obviously you run a pretty successful company at this point in time, but like, how is it like managing school that has nothing to do with what you actually make money on? Like, how do you kind of find the time to be motivated about, doing classwork, doing homework, taking tests on something that has nothing to do with how you make money necessarily?
Yeah, it's kind of just like eating, I guess, a salad or eating your vegetables. I know that I need to do it, and it's not really fun. It's not.
Are you at the point now where these get degrees, baby?
Yeah.
These get degrees, baby. I understand you.
Yeah. So doing my requirements, respecting my teachers, communicating, but I'm not penny pinching on my grades, I guess, or trying to make everything perfect. But you know what? That's just think how the cookie crumbles. And I mean, I think probably in the next 5 years or 10 years, when I want to go back to business school, and I'm like, you were such an idiot. Why didn't you just get an A the rest of like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure my future self will look at this and be like, you're dumb.
So how exactly does it look now when, like, let's take, for instance, I'm somebody that says, hey, story's really cool. I would like to come on, try to acquire funding. Like, what kind of does that process look like?
Yeah.
And people on my channel, I'm actually a client. We just connected, what was it, 3-4 days ago or something? Like, it very recently. But I saw your business and I was able to jump on a call with you, and I just thought you were so genuine, and you were also recommended to me by Andrew. That's the Facebook automation agency that I hired to run my Facebook shop. So it was very nice knowing that someone had a vested interest in me and kind of leading me in the right direction. But we know, what does it look like, and what do you kind of expect from clients? Like, I assume you just don't want everybody and anybody to kind of apply and get on phone calls.
Yeah.
Like, what is your ideal client, and what can you kind of do for them, I guess?
100%. So our ideal client, while we don't like to, we don't turn away everyone. There is like a solution for everyone. Some folks will just say, hey, you need to do credit repair, and then we can refer them to folks we trust. On the funding side, though, we're looking for people who have a 720 FICO score and above, with ideally a couple of credit cards with high limits, a 5K limit, a 10K limit. The more limits, the better. And no derogatories, that's a big one. No collections, late payments, bankruptcies. You can have inquiries, that's okay. But no negative items in the past 2 years. If they're over 2 years, then that's fine. They usually, their effect is mitigated by that time. And maybe an auto loan on there is nice, potentially a mortgage, essentially just data on the credit file that says, hey, this person is responsible with their money. And then it makes our job super easy to say, hey, okay, John, this is what your profile looks like. This is what we can do. This is what we can't do. We can expect to get you anywhere from 50 to maybe 70K, or for some folks with higher credit scores in the 750 plus, 100 to 150. And really because we don't charge anything up front, another requirement of the client is to be committed to the process, to be open to the idea of getting credit cards, because that is a thing that is quite misunderstood in our society. Like, credit cards, and I can't have all these things on my file, and it's not good, and that's bad. So part of what we do on that first call is to really gauge where the client is at with how they view credit and how they view what we're trying to accomplish. Because the goal truly of our company is, yes, to get people funding, but it's to open their eyes to the ability to leverage the thing that everyone has access to as a US citizen, which is a credit file, and structure that so that they're acquiring funding with that 0% funding from credit cards. They're able to leverage that into certain business models that produce them passive income. And it's just essentially what the wealthy do, but on a very small microcosm,
right?
Which is borrowing and using those borrowings to make money, paying down the debt, doing that over and over again. And then now banks trust you because you're able to successfully do that. So they'll give you more. They're like, okay, this person knows how to move money in an intelligent way. And that's where the money flows, is through those business models. And so, the process is pretty simple. It takes 2 to 3 weeks. And like I said, no money down. And then at the back end, we take a percentage fee of whatever we secure the client, and they can pay with the credit card. So at no point do they have to come out of pocket to pay us or wire us. Even on the e-commerce investments that we have after the funding round, that can also be paid with credit. And the beautiful thing about that, as you know, and for anyone who really knows credit, there's price protection in these cards. So you can charge back on any service that wasn't what you thought it was going to be. And the bank usually sides with their consumer. So having that fail safe in there for people, I think, has made it very, very a lot easier to get people to trust us, see our results, and then from there acquire more stores in the future. So we're really trying to build out a long-term relationship. because we know that if we do you right, Trey, and we get you the funding you need and you're able to make money from that, you're not going to want to go anywhere else. And so we're not here to get 100 or 200 clients a month and never talk to them again and get 200 new clients next year and the same thing. So that's kind of how we think.
So essentially, you're helping clients get credit, and then you're leveraging that credit to produce cash flow businesses that help them pay off the credit card, since it's 0%, essentially.
Right.
Awesome. And if you could, do you have like a specific client that maybe you were able to get them like some really great results that you were kind of surprised about? Just a client maybe that you would like to share, not having to tell any of their information or anything, but just an example of what kind of clients might be able to expect. Obviously, everybody's different when it comes to their situation, but just one that you can kind of go over.
Yeah. So there's two in mind that are pretty cool. So one of them, there was a girl who came to us who was 23, and she only had one credit card. I think it was a 4K limit with Apple, so Goldman Sachs, and she had it for only a couple of years, maybe like 1 year. And basically, she had no auto loans or anything like that. We got her about 70K, and that was it was really cool because it's like, okay, wow, that's a data point for us. File doesn't have to be absolutely loaded or super deep. It can be one card, 1 year, having really good payment history and no credit seeking behaviors. So not a ton of inquiries every month. And she didn't have any inquiries in the past year. And so that helped. And so 70K for her, that was like 2.5 weeks. We got her, I think, like 5 Amex cards, the Plum, the Gold, the Platinum, Business Blue Cash. So just a ton of leverage that she then used for Facebook automation. And then also now potentially Amazon. So that was one. There was another couple who, in total, between them, we got 350K. And they were just very attentive, very open to the process. And what was nice about the couple is that when one 0% runs out, then you can balance transfer. Right. And with the ability to just transfer balances and stuff, you can just one credit file is not looking too hot. Okay, fine. Transfer balances to this one. This file goes down, but this score shoots up. Acquire more funding, move the debt from this folk back to the other, and then do the same thing with this one, and then just keep. Yep.
That's the thing.
So
and then one more thing, can you kind of go over the different? So do you have clients when they come to you and get funding, there are specific investments that you kind of open them up to? Can you kind of go over like what those may be? Not totally in depth, but just what are they? Are they in the e-commerce space? Is it in real estate? Like, what does it look like?
Right. So we spent, and this is kind of just one of the things that we struggled with in the beginning. After we knew that, okay, yes, the model works. Yes, our process works. We can get people funding if the file looks like this. Then it was like, okay, how do we increase the LTV of each client? How do we, as a business, just double our business without having to do anything else, while also serving the client and having them utilize that 0%? Right. Because if we get someone 50K and 0%, but they're not using it, they're not taking advantage of the exact thing it's used for.
Right.
So we're like, okay, we got to plug them into the right offer. So we spent a ton of time, a ton of interviews, and a ton of Instagram DMs and just research on finding a Walmart provider. We found one that we're with now, and then we found an Amazon provider and a Facebook automation provider. Right now, we're focusing mainly on Facebook and Amazon. Those packages can range anywhere from 10 up to 75K. And I think one nice thing about our positioning in this market is that a lot of providers will lead with the investment, and they'll ask essentially for the business up front to get started. I think we're very blessed to help people for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, have them trust us, and then actually care about our guidance and care about what we think is the best for them. And quite frankly, like not every package makes the most sense. Like someone who makes 80K a year, who maybe has never been in an investment before, and we got him 100K, it maybe doesn't make sense for him to do the biggest package right off the bat. It makes sense for him to do a 60 or, like a 60-40 split at 15K, have the full ROI happen, have him see, okay, yes, this works. And then on the second round of funding in year 2, when we get him 150, 200K, that's when we can talk about the bigger things.
Right, makes sense.
I think that the problem is that there's a lot of different people selling these things that don't really vet the client and where they're at and their income goals. And also then they run into trouble because they bring someone on who has unrealistic expectations.
Right.
And then that is not good for anyone. So we really try to just manage all of those and just say, hey, you're not going to make $100,000 your first year. Like, it's going to take some time.
Make sure they don't drop out of college, right? Make sure they don't drop out. They're not gonna be rich overnight.
Right. You're not going to be able to go to Bali like your second month in it.
Right.
So
dude, that's huge though, because I see like what you're doing makes a lot of sense, because a lot of people, I think, especially now, just kind of with this virus that basically had us locked inside for a year. It seems like a lot of people transition to, not having credit. Like, hey, I want to make sure I'm buying in cash. What they're essentially doing is not leveraging what they could to make passive income. And as we know, and you go to a pretty prestigious university, it's doing what the rich do, is leveraging other people's money to make their money.
Right. 100%.
And that's huge, especially with the partners you have being in the e-commerce space. And I'm sure eventually you'll, venture out into other things like real estate, like some other physical assets. But it looks like the e-commerce space is going to be along forever, very long time, still doing extremely well, which is something that's really nice for us to look at, especially when you get people so much money, knowing that they have something that they can like respectfully put it in and actually, like, I wouldn't say guarantee results, but make sure those are going to be things that pay them for the long run, which is really important.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the reason I'm so passionate about this model particularly is because when people come into e-commerce, it's like, oh, well, do I start a product? Like, where do I do the sourcing? All these questions and all these, like, it becomes very complicated very quick, and they see that they can't do it on their own. And so a lot of people just give up. So what's nice about this model is that you get to participate in all of the amazing things of e-commerce, making all the money while doing absolutely nothing. I mean, maybe checking your profit and loss every couple of days and doing one thing here and there, but it's really passive. And it's, again, something I didn't do my first time, and I messed up for it. If I had found that then and like leveraged my credit and done that, it just wouldn't have been completely different. So I want to make sure people don't make the same mistakes I did, and just go with the thing that's easy. Like, don't try. I mean, you can try to start your business, make your product great. If you're only in it for the money, that's fine. Most people are. Then, lab professionals run your store who know exactly what products to sell, and just use it as a cash cow and preserve your time. Do other things you want to do.
So what's the easiest way that somebody can contact you? Like, is it social media? Like, do you have anything that they can look and see more about, the company, more about you? Is it Instagram? Is it YouTube? Like, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you? And I'll leave links in my description of the video as well. So anybody who's looking to jump on a call or just wants to learn more information, they'll be able to see that in the description to do so.
Yeah. If people want to get in contact, they can just go to my Instagram and send me a DM and just say, hey, I came from Trey's video, and I'll know exactly where they're coming from. And then I do have a YouTube channel, but I'm mainly on Instagram. And then our website is also will be in the description, but it's just empowerconsultingpartners.com. And on there, you'll have more testimonials of folks. You'll see me, and then you can book. And we don't have any sales agents. It's truly just myself, my partner, and then our employees. And we like to keep it that way because we want the person in the advertisement or the person on this call, we want to speak with you directly.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah, it's super huge. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, because I know this is going to help a lot of people out when it comes to, getting funding and then really starting to make passive income. So really appreciate everything the company's doing, not only for myself, but hopefully for a few people that are subscribed that are really looking to get into business. So yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you jumping on. Really, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, the pleasure is mine. You're awesome, Trey. I love just people doing this type of content. This long form content is just so, for the people who watch it all the way through, like, you're awesome. You just, yeah, you're going to do great things because you truly want to know. You're open to learning. So that's the type of person we want to work with.
And just like that, another interview in the books. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you got value from this video. Now, in the description, there'll be links to not only Blake's Instagram, also his company website, and you can also schedule a call directly with him in the comment section down below. Because, well, if you want to create passive income, or you want to be able to fund your next business venture, maybe your passion, using other people's money and your credit to be able to really leverage that to give you the freedom of time and the financial means to be able to do what your passion is extremely, extremely important. And you want to make sure you're going through the right company or the right people to be able to help you do that. And that's what I'm here for, guys. I have a channel totally dedicated to how to make money online, diversifying your income, financial news that I think is pretty important for you to know, and interviews that I think would be valuable for you to see. Yeah, we just added that. We're going to do some interviews. Well, we're going to do some more interviews, guys, to bring you value. So if you did watch this video to the end, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified every time I post a video. And make sure you hit that like button, as it lets me know what kind of videos you're interested in seeing. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you're having a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.